This video is for informational and educational purposes only. It's not a replacement for professional guidance. Always consult with a qualified expert, like a doctor or therapist, if you have concerns. We believe in your journey of growth and encourage you to seek support when needed. Remember, every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. You've got this.
Okay, so welcome everyone to another deep dive.
Yeah.
And today we're going to kind of shift gears a little bit. You know, we talk a lot about the emotional and like the personal aspects of recovery.
Yeah.
But we don't always dig into the legal side of things.
Nitty gritty.
Yeah. And it's something that I think can be really intimidating for a lot of people, right?
Absolutely.
Like it's already a tough journey and then you start thinking like, oh my gosh.
What about the law?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a whole other thing to deal with.
So that's what we're diving into today. We're looking at chapter 5 from the recovery guide we've been talking about. And let me tell you, there's some really good stuff in here. Strategies even. Like, I was surprised. So our mission today is to help you understand the ins and outs of the legal system and give you some tools so you can protect yourself, you know, legally and just in your well-being as you go through this whole process. Sound good?
Sounds like a plan. And yeah, this chapter is a goldmine. I think it's smart to start by acknowledging that legal stuff can feel like a whole separate beast on top of everything else.
Yeah.
But it is connected to everything.
Totally.
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest takeaways from this chapter is just how impactful those consequences can be.
Right.
Even, we're talking fines, legal charges, whatever.
Right.
I mean, those can have ripple effects for years to come. Relationships, jobs, housing, you name it. It's really, really important stuff.
You know what really struck me was that case study about the person who got a DUI
Yeah.
and ended up losing their professional license because of it.
Oh, right.
And then that led to job loss and financial instability. It's like a domino effect.
Yeah, and that's a perfect example of why, this chapter really hammers home this point. That knowing your rights, having a lawyer who gets it, it's not optional. You really need that guidance to navigate the legal system in a way that protects you long term. Like, they were talking about things like expungement or diversion programs, stuff I honestly had no idea about.
Me neither. Like expungement, I had no idea that was even a possibility in some cases.
Right. But it is. And having that legal expert by your side who can explain all that makes all the difference.
That's huge.
Huge. But okay, legal stuff aside.
Yeah.
Chapter 5 also talks about, self-care.
Yeah.
And that was a big one for me.
This really stood out to me too.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to think, oh, self-care, that's like, bubble baths and face masks. But the way they frame it in this chapter is about building resilience to stress, which when you're dealing with legal issues on top of everything else.
Right. It's like essential.
Yeah, it's essential.
And they give some really practical tools too, like mindfulness exercises, even simple breathing techniques, things you can use right in the moment.
I've tried mindfulness before, but I never thought about using it in like a legal context.
Right.
But it makes so much sense.
Total sense. If you can manage your anxiety, stay calm, you're going to make better decisions, you're going to be a better advocate for yourself. It all ties together.
Absolutely. And that kind of leads into, I think, another big point that they make, which is about, your support system and like really leaning on those people.
100%. Because they're not just there for hugs.
Right.
They can actually help you stay on track with both your legal obligations and your recovery goals. It's huge.
They even suggested like bringing your support people to legal meetings.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Court dates.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting.
It is.
I mean, having that extra support there can make you feel so much more grounded and less alone.
Yeah, it takes that feeling of isolation away. It's huge.
For sure. And then I think, another crucial piece of this whole puzzle, they talk about boundaries.
Boundaries.
Like setting those healthy boundaries.
Oh, so important.
Which can be hard.
So hard.
But, they talked about it as like building this protective moat around your recovery.
I love that analogy.
Right. And recognizing those environments, those situations, those people that might trigger you.
Yeah.
And being willing to step back from those things.
Sometimes you gotta make tough choices, like maybe distance yourself from certain people or activities. But this chapter made me realize that saying no to those things is really saying yes to something bigger, to your recovery, to your future. And that's where, the idea of finding purpose comes in.
Yes. The purpose piece is so important.
It's everything.
And they had that amazing story about the woman who started volunteering at the animal shelter
Oh, right, right.
during her recovery. And it just totally changed her perspective, you know?
Yeah.
She found so much joy and meaning in taking care of those animals.
It's incredible, right? How helping others can give you that sense of purpose. Like it shifts the focus from what you're losing to what you're gaining. And that can be so powerful, especially when you're dealing with legal stuff. It reminds you what you're fighting for.
It's like, you know, you're creating this new life, this new tapestry, and each positive choice, each action, it's like another thread. It's building something beautiful, something strong.
Beautiful. And you know, this whole journey,
Yeah,
the legal stuff, the recovery, it's all about transformation, isn't it?
it is.
It really is.
So let's do a quick recap of what we've learned today.
Love a good recap.
Okay, so first, we talked about how big of a deal those legal consequences can be, right?
Right.
Like they can affect so many areas of your life. Then we dove into how important it is to have a good lawyer, one who specializes in addiction and recovery, because they can help you understand your rights, your options, and really, you know, advocate for you effectively. And then, of course, we talked about self-care, not as like a luxury, but as a tool to build resilience and to manage stress.
And we have tools, right? Like specific exercises and techniques we can use.
Exactly. And then, you know, we can't forget about leaning on your support system, those people who are there for you. And then those boundaries, right? Protecting your recovery by making those tough choices about who and what you allow into your life.
Yep.
And then I think the most inspiring part was about finding purpose, like finding something bigger than yourself that gives you that drive, that passion, and realizing that this whole journey, it's all about transformation. It's about becoming a stronger, better you.
So well said.
So I'm going to leave you with this thought. How can you set one clear boundary this week
Ooh, I like this.
to make your environment more supportive of your recovery? Could be, you know, saying no to certain social events. Could be carving out time for those self-care practices we talked about. Whatever it is, remember you have the power to shape your journey.
Shape your future. You got this.
That's it for this deep dive, everyone.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.